1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. One beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary.
Homeboy tripping, he ain't know I got a gun. When it come to pop, man, we do shit for fun. You ain't got one, brother, you better run. Now I'm in the back getting head from my huns. While she going down, I break it off what I done. Smoking on my blunt, saying she ain't having fun. Bitch, give it back then, you don't need none. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Welcome, everybody. It's the boys from Illinois, the Pub Time Podcast.
Yes, sir. We hot?
Yeah,
Nice.
finally.
Live and in concert. Not live.
Just in
Live.
concert.
Live to us. No. It's you had a long night last night, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm hurting.
This is a little earlier than our
Funny.
normal recording time. But yeah, I had a feeling when I saw what you were up to last night that you might have been a little under the weather this morning.
McDonald's Coke. That's the only thing bringing me back right now.
Should have got the Sprite, man.
No, I don't do the Sprites.
No?
Nah. And Squirt. If I'm drinking clear, it's got to be Squirt.
Squirt clear.
Yeah.
It is,
yeah,
isn't it? Just the
yeah.
bottles. So do a little kind of talking some secret society today a little bit with the Skull and Bones. That's probably one of the more popular ones, or whatever, more commonly known ones, I would say.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't really feel like there's too many secrets left about a lot of these societies.
No, and my take on secret societies in general, this one, Freemasons, whatever, is that there's really not a lot of malicious intent to them at all. I think that they're basically a social club almost. It's basically just a way to network with other people who want to be successful and kind of establishing that you're going to hold up your end of the bargain to be a good person yourself and do the right thing, but also to advance. Anytime you could help lend a hand to another member of said society to help advance them in their career or life in some way, that you would do so. And I think that that's what it is. It's basically a club of people who all are striving to be successful and are basically bringing everyone else along for the ride in some way, shape, or form. It's
So one thing I looked at, I was kind of surprised. So out of the 10 secret societies that are at Yale currently, Skull and Bones was like number 5, money-wise.
really, they're probably just more.
Scroll and Key, where Bill Clinton was a part of, worth $10 million
Jeez.
annually.
Do you think they're just more well-known people who are a member of Skull and Bones, or just the nature of the rumors that surround this particular society that makes it more well-known, or what?
I mean, I think the fact that you're known as the Brotherhood of Death seems
Sure.
a lot creepier than Scroll and Key,
Yeah.
Tooth and File, Wolf's Head,
Right.
the Elizabethan group. I mean,
Elizabethans, huh?
watch out for those guys.
Yeah. I've met a couple Elizabethans.
Hide your wives.
So on to stay with the theme of the Skull and Bones, we talked about doing 5 for 5 on skulls that you would like to have on your mantle if you were into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the question I have about this,
They obviously have to be dead.
that's what I was gonna say, is does the person have to currently be deceased?
I got a pretty crazy lineup going in my mind right now.
I I for real, man, I don't have a single one. I don't think right off the top of my head. I'm gonna shoot from the hip as we go.
I'm
Uh,
I'm ready to start it off.
Go ahead.
Number 5, and it's unfortunate this didn't get to happen while he was alive, but I'm gonna take Adolf Hitler's head.
Yeah.
As big a piece of shit as he was, genius, military wise. I mean, he revolutionized the way wars are fought. So
Yeah, no, he definitely did. If you want to look at just that aspect of what he did, for sure. Just the speed, the whole blitzkrieg thing was, new and innovative at the time, and we just were on the heels of World War One, where everybody was, a
line
trench
up and shoot each
warfare.
other in the face. Yeah.
It was sort of the perfect storm of, uh, it modern tactics, modern weapons, and old tactics. Right, is kind of like what we had at World War One, and then it evolved into World War Two, where we had even more modern technology
Yeah.
and modern weapons,
Chemical
and
warfare,
Sure,
doing things out of,
it was. You figure we were coming. The Civil War was what, 60 years prior or so to that, where they're literally using muskets and cannons, and now we've got fucking tanks and planes and everything else. It's wild.
yeah, and like I said, still up to that point, I think everybody still kind of fought a gentleman's war,
Sure.
and he completely changed that. You didn't know what
Well,
to expect.
I would say there came a time, because I would say way back when, like back, let's say like the Romans, the Spartans, that time frame in the world. I don't know if you could say that there was, that's where the term raping and pillaging came from back then, right? Because they didn't just come in and kill your military. I mean,
They had sex with you afterwards.
exactly. They had their way with whatever, and killed people, innocent people, men, women, children, whatever. And yeah, I think that there was a period in time in our history where there was sort of a certain decorum that surrounded warfare, and there were rules of engagement, and you did handle things a certain way. And Hitler sort of was the first modern person maybe to throw that shit out the window.
Yeah, he's just here to win.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So for me, number 5, first person came to mind, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth's
What do you want the babe's
skull
head
on
for?
the mantle. It's the Bambino, man. Like, I think that'd be awesome. So I think I'm going to say Babe Ruth. Definitely. It's funny to think that, just his body type and all his lifestyle, if you plug that into today's game, it'd be kind of wild.
I mean, he was
Bizarre.
hitting 50-mile-an-hour fastballs too,
Sure.
though.
I mean,
So I mean,
Yeah,
fuck.
that just the game as a whole has changed. Technology, the way people take care of their bodies and train and
'Cause
whatever else.
I'd take Randy Johnson against Babe Ruth any
Sure.
fucking day of the week.
A lot of those guys,
He probably never even seen a white man that was 6 foot tall.
right? A lot of those guys back then, not him probably, but shit, they had day jobs. I mean, they weren't paying those guys what they make now.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 5 for me is going to be the Babe.
My 4, I'm taking Marilyn Monroe.
Ooh, okay.
I might even try to squeeze in a little Ed Kemper sesh on that thing. I don't know. Don't know what part you lube up, but
The neck root, obviously.
I still can't believe the Kennedys killed her. That's crazy.
Oh, definitely. We have to do a podcast on that. Huh?
All those guys
Marilyn
just
Monroe.
just covered in so much suspicion.
Right.
He might even creep into this thing a little bit, but
So for me, number 4 on my list, I am going to go with. Man, this is tough. I'm going to take Jim Morrison.
not Freddie Mercury.
No, I'm going to take Jim Morrison. The Doors. He's just so mysterious, right?
Yeah, the Lizard
Just the
King.
mystery around him. The Babe next to Jim Morrison.
Yeah,
It's a party.
My 3, I'm taking a musician as well. Although the skull probably comes in a couple pieces, unfortunately, and that is Daryl Abbott, Dimebag.
Okay. I thought when you said a couple pieces, I thought maybe you're gonna say Kurt Cobain. but
No, I would definitely take Dimebag.
Yeah.
Much better guitar player than Kurt Cobain.
right. So number 3 on my list, I'm gonna take Abe Lincoln. Honest Abe.
Yeah, you're gonna get your pull on that one, huh? He
I'm
didn't
gonna
get them round lips from eating square
yeah,
meals.
I'm gonna take Abe Lincoln. So we got the Babe, we got Jim Morrison, and we've got Abe Lincoln. 3 very different.
Taking
people.
Abe Lincoln to the stabbing cabin. I know where you're going with that.
We still gotta
Shit.
let that episode out of the bag one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. Probably on the way out.
Yeah.
My number 2. I know who my 1 is. And my 1's for sure he's not changing. So I'm gonna go with obviously they got Geronimo, so I'm gonna have to take Crazy Horse. I talked about this guy before when we talked about what was that? It was a Famous Dead. What was it? I can't remember what it was.
I don't know, Wyatt Earp, maybe.
It was White Earp,
Yeah.
yes. Wild West figures. Just the way that guy fought, you know what I mean? And outnumbered, didn't give a fuck. Real warrior. Huge fan.
So number 2 for me, this one's a little more recent as far as his departure from the earth. But again, I want to make this a mantle of very interesting people. And this guy fits for sure. And that's the pirate, Mike Leach.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Fucking love me some Mike Leach, man.
You love him more now that he's dead.
No, I loved him
It's
when he
one of
was
those
alive.
guys.
Mike Leach, all
The
the,
best thing that could have happened to Mike Leach was sudden death.
way. I don't know about that.
But
Jeez.
my 1, I'm going Ben Drankin, my boy Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Huge
okay.
fan. Yeah. He has a house in somewhere in England, and it hasn't been recent. I think in the last 20 years, they're kind of checking this place out, seeing but thousands of body parts buried in the basement. So nobody
Really?
really knows what the fuck Ben was up to.
Yeah.
You'd like to believe he was probably doing some sort of medical research, and it was kind of frowned upon having
You'd hope so.
cadavers and shit back then. So
Right. Yeah. It's hard.
I don't see him as a serial killer, but
Yeah, it's hard to say.
could be true.
So last one here. So like you could go a lot of different directions. You know, you could go like George Washington or something like that. But I've already got a president.
What about Connie Britton? Put her head up there.
She's currently still alive.
Oh. Julia Childs.
So I don't know. The Wyatt Earp thing got my mind, my wheels turning, and I think it would be nice to have someone from varying different walks of life and times in history. So I'm gonna take Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday, the Babe, Jim Morrison, Abe Lincoln, and Mike Leach.
Not one
That's a
female on your
fucking
list, bud.
Party.
What's going on here?
What's that?
Not one female on your
No,
list.
we discriminate here at the pub. At least on this list.
Very unfortunate.
I mean, what do you think? Like, who am I thinking of? Cleopatra or something like that?
Hey, yeah. Mark Antony was a huge fan.
Yeah. So wait, you did your one already, right?
Yeah, I already did my one.
Yeah, so
Ben Drankin.
that's right. It's kind of a weird list to make
Yeah, not really.
because you got to think like obviously you're not going to sit there and like necessarily admire these things,
I would. I like skulls. I'm a huge fan.
but they all sort of look the same, right? Like
give or take.
I just think that what makes it fascinating, if you know who it's from, it's more of a conversation piece. Like, hey, did you know that that's Ben Franklin's skull over there on the mantle?
Charlie Manson could have made the list. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of
Been an interesting
decent
one.
people out there.
Charlie Manson. Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, obviously presidents. There's a lot of movie stars or athletes.
Fuck them presidents.
Walter Payton.
Fuck those guys. Walter Payton, Junior Seau,
Yeah.
Vince Young. Shit. well,
Aaron
let's check his-
Hernandez.
Yeah.
While you're at it. Jeffrey Epstein.
To be determined.
You could have Jeffrey Epstein. You could have
So before we did this,
Pope John Paul.
before we really got into the skulls thing, I'm thinking, I was like, we could have talked about Ohio, what's currently happening there, how that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
impact the United States for
We should talk
years
about
and years to come. I mean,
You know, now
I
don't
feel like we
watch-
could have spent an entire fucking
Sure.
episode.
I don't watch a lot of network news, really, or news at all for that matter, unless it's on obviously the most reliable news source there is. That's TikTok. But
What's the largest moving freshwater source in the United States? Flowing.
Flowing would be like the Mississippi River.
Okay. So that Ohio Valley River basin runs into,
The Mississippi River. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
and
I
it-
mean,
it-
everything.
It is going to touch a lot of people.
Yeah, everything in between the Appalachian Mountain Range and the Rocky Mountains ultimately flows to the Mississippi River for the most
Correct.
part.
Correct.
So, yeah,
And I
that's.
love how this is taking place. It's getting zero coverage.
Oh, of course, no, because they fucked it up. They screwed the pooch. This is a huge,
that or maybe it's
fucking
meant
issue.
to be.
Huge fucking issue.
You know what
But-
I mean? I don't know.
Well,
Th-
yeah,
those
the-
people, we watched a couple 100,000 people get poisoned live on television,
Right?
and nothing's happening.
No. I saw that they sent people away from their homes for a few days. They come back and like all their pets and animals are dead and shit.
FEMA just now showing up. Like they thought, hey, maybe this is something we should
Right.
maybe go check this out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
People,
the United States government is growing more and more incompetent.
people
as
in like
time passes.
southern Michigan, I don't know if it was last week, snowing up there, and the lady's catching it, and it's like plastic. It's basically
Jesus.
plastic falling from the sky. She thought it was snowing, but it's
That's insane,
plastic. I
right?
mean, you released tons and tons of chemicals into the air.
And I heard that the company that shipped this stuff, that the train it was on did not have the proper certifications or whatever to be transporting
They
it.
showed a video of it dragging a wheel for like a quarter mile before it tipped.
Yeah.
Like one wheel's seized up, hot. You can
Yeah.
see it on video. Like
Just it wasn't certified as hazardous material, I guess. At least I heard that. I don't know if it's true. But if that's if they did that to save a buck, I tell you what, this is gonna cost a lot more than whatever that.
fuck what it's going to cost those people, because nobody's going to get shit out of it.
No,
These
that's
people are
very
going to
true.
get shit on hard.
Yeah.
I mean, poisoned their children, their children's children. Like that place, you might as well blow the whole fucking town
Well,
up.
isn't it like it's with that movie that came out back like early 2000s, Aaron Brockovich, right?
That's what's
the
getting ready to happen.
3 Mile Island or whatever.
No, that was in wasn't Arizona, but it was out that way. They had lead
Was it?
line. They had chromium was getting into the drinking water. 3 Mile
like-
Island's out in New Jersey.
Gotcha. Okay. But whatever. Yeah. Similar, maybe not as extreme, but a more subtle situation of, right, contaminated groundwater.
And to
People
be
are
honest,
drinking.
I mean, you're hauling this shit around just to make fucking cheap plastic.
Right.
Probably time to lay off the shit. You know what I mean? Maybe we don't need as many plastic things moving on in the future.
Well, it's not about what we need or don't need, right? I mean, it's about,
sales.
what's plastic made from? Petroleum.
See, I
right.
don't think this vinyl chloride was. I
No.
think this is a different way to make.
Make plastic.
I watched a couple old, they must have been like 1950s school videos
Right.
about how they make vinyl chloride, sodium and hydrogen and something else. And when it's in this fucking liquid state, it's extremely fucking flammable.
Well, and I think too, it depends on, follow the money, right? Follow back to who stands to make the most money off of vinyl chloride.
But then also seeing there was like maybe 4 other train derailments in certain places
Yeah,
getting zero coverage.
sure. And I guess I'm going to tie it into what's going on right now, like the Ukraine and Russia conflict, where we just, we said we weren't going to send them tanks, and now we're sending them tanks. And, as of right now, we haven't sent them any jets, but I guarantee you that's going to happen too. And it's because of the whole military industrial complex, because, someone way up the food chain that is tied in or owns a defense company is like, I think it's a good idea.
Well, I guess maybe that's
If
where
you-
I'm getting with
I
this.
think it's a good idea if you send jets to Ukraine, because that means that my company gets to build 10,000 more.
Maybe
like-
this train company isn't completely fucking stupid. Maybe this was on purpose.
Do you mean like to sabotage someone?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's
Other
a-
than those poor fucking people, that's your
sure,
sabotage.
but I mean, like, are you saying that it's
maybe
possible?
some sort of an act of war. Yeah.
Oh, against the
Like I said,
U.S.
5
Okay.
of these motherfuckers have been derailed recently. This one
Really?
was a huge one,
Okay.
getting 0 coverage. I mean,
Yeah.
it fucking maybe 30 seconds on
So
the news.
5 trains with the same stuff.
Not same, but very similar.
Okay, with hazardous material.
Very
somewhere.
hazardous, yes.
Did not know that.
Into
But-
freshwater systems. I mean,
Yeah.
that one basically it poured into the Ohio River Basin.
Well,
I mean,
it's. I try not to think about it because it will drive you crazy. I think and keep you up at night if you really want to like dig deep into this stuff. But we are just completely openly and blatantly lied to nonstop. I mean, everybody talks about like living in the matrix or some sort of simulation.
fuck it, we're in it.
I don't think we're living in like a computer simulation, but we are living in a false world that is being, sold to us that is not real. You know what I mean? Like what we are told is going on and shit like that is not the case. Like the whole this fucking balloon from China that we let float across the entire country before we do anything, or there's 4 or 5 other random fucking objects in the sky that have popped up, and it's like they just brush over it, or they give you some
So,
bullshit explanation,
I've
and most people just accept it. Like,
I've completely sat out of the couple UFO briefings that the commander in chief has given because
Right.
after listening to that fucking State of the Union thing,
yeah,
some of that fucking gibberish.
that thing, and I understand why it served a purpose once upon a time.
Type that fucker out for somebody
Yeah.
else to read.
Well, I'm saying when the president wasn't readily available on national television, the internet all the time, daily, when this was maybe the one time a year that you might, as a citizen that lived where,
yeah, it's
wherever,
more of a tradition.
that this would be the one time of the year that you'd maybe hear from the president about his intentions, on the radio, probably back in the day or something, where now everybody, it's just a 24-hour news cycle. The president's readily available for comment on pretty much anything. And so I get it's a tradition, but it's stupid. I mean, no matter who the president is or what party they're from, it's so fucking stupid. These people, they act like children, right? They clap and cheer when they say something that's pro their party, and the other party boos. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen.
But I'm saying, did you see some of the
No.
shit they clapped at?
Oh no, I did not. I didn't watch it. Fuck no, I didn't watch it.
Oh my god, I wish I had her live right now. Like,
No, I can only
gibberish,
imagine.
gibberish, legit
Yeah.
gibberish.
Yeah.
You kind of got an idea what he was meant to say.
Right.
Oh, they fucking blindly clap anyway. It's like,
I know.
what the fuck he just said doesn't
Exactly.
make any goddamn sense.
and
No
they
one should
probably
be
like it
clapping.
that way. They probably like it that way.
Fuck, it was crazy, man.
It's insane. Like the fact that someone, and again, I don't care what party he's from, someone that's obviously has serious cognitive
issues.
It was elected as president. It was propped up there by
I legit
a party.
I thought Trump was the worst spoken president we've ever had. This motherfucker giving him a serious run for his money.
Yeah.
I mean, every day.
Sure. No, I mean it's gibberish. Like he doesn't know where he's at the time out there. I wonder what kind of drugs he's on, like to keep him halfway like
Give me
lucid.
some.
You know what I mean? Like it's unreal. Like they just like I don't know. You wonder who's pulling the strings right behind it all. I mean, it's probably not even like someone that's actually in politics. Do you see that? I sent you that TikTok last
Probably
night that my
Skull
dad
and
sent me
Bones
or
guys.
whatever of it's this guy that's reading off. He's like, "Is this the NBA or the NFL?" And he's like,
yes.
This many hundreds
How
of
many
them have
felonies? Yeah.
felonies, sex offenders,
Domestic abuse.
yeah, credit scores in the 500s, blah 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 blah. I mean, there's all these terrible things.
This
And he's
is
like,
your 439 senators.
yeah, he's like, it's not the NBA or the NFL, it's Congress. It's like,
Fuck. But
yeah.
you do nothing about it. That's the bad part.
No,
we
I mean,
never
all
clean
you
house.
all you have to do to look at that fucking clown in Pennsylvania or whatever that they elected, like all you have to do is be willing to try to push forward someone's agenda that's got the money to support you and get you in that role. Like you if you have any intention, I mean, the fastest way to get kicked out of politics is to have any motivation to invoke actual change.
I did
Like,
notice he's breaking down. He didn't make her very long. Did you see that? He
Who's
just
that?
checked himself. Oh boy from Pennsylvania.
oh
Just
really?
checked himself into a mental Health facility.
Did he really? So that he's going to resign, I'm sure, and then they'll plug someone else in. Yeah, that'll be how it goes. But his family's probably set for life, right? They probably wrote him a fat check, and he was their little mascot for
That
whatever.
was great. Yeah.
And like I said, if you have any intentions of actually doing something productive,
You ain't doing it in
you
politics.
you won't be there very long. You will either allegedly unalive yourself, or you'll just be
Or do it
removed.
your own self. Sounds like that's where this cat was trending. He's ready to end her all.
I don't know, man.
What about Sarah Palin? Did you see that picture?
No, how's she looking?
She's looking good, but it looked like she's getting a little wild. A little tummy tat and shit.
Oh, really?
Them titties hanging out. I mean, this is all on TikTok, of course, but
Remember when they came out with that? It's like
Nailing Palin.
Palin. Yeah.
huge fan. Lisa Ann owes that lady every dollar she's ever earned.
I know.
She was the best impersonator of all time. I mean, you think some of those skits from SNL with Bill Clinton,
Right.
fuck, she's really good.
Excuse me. So, what do you think? We ready to get into the Skull and Bones?
The Order of the Bone. I don't see why not.
Skull and Bones, also known as the Order 322. They go by the Brotherhood of Death.
My favorite.
They're an undergrad secret society at Yale University, which is in New Haven, Connecticut. The oldest senior class society at the university, Skull and Bones has become a cultural institution. It's known for its powerful alumni and various conspiracy theories. It's one of the big three societies at Yale, the other two being the Scroll and Key and Wolf's Head.
And like I said, there was the Elizabethans. There's another one that starts with a B that I can't fucking pronounce.
I imagine that the Elizabethans, every time you say that, what I picture in my head is, you ever seen the movie?
Them fuckers are drinking tea right
Have
now.
you ever seen
guaranteed.
the movie Matilda?
Powdered wigs? No, I haven't.
Never seen Matilda.
Not all the way through.
And the woman that's the headmaster of this crazy school she goes to is her name's
The big chick?
Mrs. Trunchbull or whatever. That's what I imagine all the Elizabethans are.
Is it?
And
It's the
she's-
big one that looks like a PE
Yeah,
teacher. Yeah.
giant beastly women.
Yeah.
Um,
Love it. Nothing
So,
against PE
It
teachers.
sounds a little like, when you hear these different societies, Scroll and Key, Wolf's Head, Skull and Bones, sounds like Yale might be Hogwarts.
It looks like it too.
Like-
So I watched a couple videos, like just the campus itself. I mean, it looks like it's from the 1700s.
Have you ever watch, they don't have, I'm sure they still have them on TV, but like the Travel Channel and stuff used to have like top 10 burgers or whatever. Well, the place that the cheeseburger was allegedly
That thing is bullshit.
invented,
I've seen.
Louis Lunch.
Fuck, you seen it? It comes on bread.
Yeah,
And it's cooked in like a fucking toaster.
something like
Fuck
that.
out of here
yeah.
with that hamburger.
Yeah, I'd try it.
Trying
Just
to tell
to
me
s-
how good it is. You've
I'd
seen
try
it though. It just gets clamped in that basket and shoved in a little box.
Right.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
They ain't no burger. Suck my dick, Louis.
It gets cooked with fire.
Suck my dick, Louis.
The place looks like it's about as big as this room,
And then you serve it on bread.
right?
Bread. It's like, motherfucker, I've had a couple hamburgers on bread before. We've talked about this.
But
Like,
a bun is
when
bread.
I was 7,
But a bun is bread.
a slice of fucking bread.
What's the difference?
Huge difference.
How though? Really, what's the difference? Now I understand if you're gonna say
You
like,
go to fucking Wonder Dog
like a
and they
brioche
serve, they s-
bun compared to like white bread. Yes, different.
a fucking sesame seed bun compared to a piece of sliced
Dude,
bread.
sesame seed has no flavor to it.
It's no,
What's a sesame seed taste like, Ryan?
it's delicious. Gotta give bitches toasted. You
Uh.
continue to eat it on fucking sliced white bread, then asshole.
I'm not saying I seek my burgers out on
No, fuck
sliced
'em.
bread, but
The next time I order you something, that bitch is coming on sliced white bread. I don't give a fuck what it is.
so they have an alumni organization known as the Russell Trust Association.
So, how many fraternities do you think is owned by an outside corporation?
I don't
At
know.
Yale-
Maybe it's more
At
common.
Yale, every one of them.
Yeah,
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
it
that
might be
much.
more common than what we know.
And like on campus, only known as Bones. Like
Yeah.
that's how they're referred to. That's how the
Yeah.
students refer to it. Faculty.
Yeah, so the Russell Trust Association, they own the Skull and Bones, and they own the real estate, and they oversee the membership. The society is known informally, as Ryan said, as Bones, and they call the members Bonesmen, members of the order, or initiated to the order. Um,
Like I said, the Bonesman thing. I dig the death aspect of this. Memento mori, like that's their motto.
right.
Huge fan. I get that, and I
Well,
think that's what draws a lot of.
I'm sure we'll talk about it, but the whole idea is that they view death, right, as the great equalizer,
Yeah,
that
it's coming
that,
for
and
everybody.
that all that matters is what you do with your life while you're living.
Right.
Because the moment we all die, we're all now equal.
Right.
So, and maybe that's part of the reason that they have skulls of certain prominent people to just demonstrate that in death they all look the same.
So no,
or
we don't
something,
we don't
you know what I
have
mean?
it in here, but like when they step foot in the tomb, their clock, their watch, whatever they're wearing is 5 minutes ahead of time.
Sure, yeah, they live 5 minutes ahead of time.
Bones time or bone
sure,
time, whatever the fuck they
but
call it.
they have a grandfather clock in their ritual room or whatever that is always set at 8 o'clock p.m. And I guess just the whole concept around this in general is that when they're in the tomb, which is what their facility is called, that they
Time
get
is
lost. You know,
meaningless.
time is meaningless. It has no relevancy whatsoever.
And also, I found out when you are initiated, that is one of the gifts you receive is a grandfather clock.
Really.
Not sure what it, obviously it's got some
Right.
sort of tie to something. But
Sure, yeah. And so they select their members among students every spring as part of the university's TAP Day. They've done this since 1879. And since the society's inclusion of women in the early 1990s, Skull and Bones selects 15 men and women of the junior class to join the society. The Skull and Bones they tap those that they view as campus leaders and other notable figures for this membership. So I kind of botched that a little bit, but what they do is they kind of, I think there is they physically will walk up to someone and like tap them, and that's how they know that like they're under consideration.
then you get bagged.
Yeah, bagged and tagged. Yeah,
Really,
sure.
you get bagged and taken into the tomb. But it does sound like they have released their, maybe came off their beliefs a little bit. I mean, they've opened up to other races now, which is very nice of them.
Right.
Females obviously being added in the 90s,
Right.
and even members of the LGBTQ
Yeah,
have became recent members of Skull and Bones.
that's interesting. Which I mean, I'm sure there had been in the past, just it wasn't maybe as known, possibly.
Oh, you tell me Herbert Walker ain't stared down a barrel of another man's penis, that's for sure. Or Howard or William Taft.
One thing I find interesting is a lot of other sororities, or fraternities,
Don't be a dick, call it a sorority.
but you usually attempt to join them as a freshman, right? Where here you don't. You're basically spending your first 3 years on campus if this is something you're interested in.
So they even belong to other fraternities.
Trying to show that you're maybe Bones material, and so you get to join before your senior year. But it's one of these things, as we'll keep highlighting, that it's not just something that you're a part of for the duration that you're on the Yale campus. This is a lifetime sort of deal.
And they meet on Thursdays and Sundays.
Is there any significance to that?
No, not that they're going to come off. I'm sure there is, but the meetings obviously could take anywhere from an hour or two to a whole day event. So depending on what's happening.
And so, like other Yale senior societies, the Skull and Bones membership was almost exclusively limited to white Protestant males, as Ryan mentioned, for most of its history. While Yale itself had exclusionary policies directed at particular ethnic and religious groups, the senior societies were even more exclusionary.
And we'll talk about it later, but there were some guys I wish I would have put them down, but they're really about the time of the turn of the century with Hitler and what was the Doctor of Death? Joseph Mengele. They're really big into eugenics, the Aryan race, and whatever else. And it sounds like some of these guys maybe even dabbled in that for a while. So
So a semi-occult secretive brotherhood like Skull and Bones needs a semi-occult secretive lair where they can hold their initiation ceremonies. In the early 19th century, Skull and Bones rented out various on-campus halls where they would hold late-night discussions. But in 1856, they finally constructed the Tomb. It's a windowless brownstone where bonesmen would meet privately every Thursday and Sunday, and no one knows exactly what's inside the tomb. But there have been a few expeditions inside by curious outsiders. So in 1876, a group calling itself the Order of the File and Claw, named so because what they used to break into the tomb, wrote a pamphlet about what they found inside. Rooms outfitted with black and red velvet, pentagrams on the walls, and photos of an alternative society in Germany. A few years later, another group broke in and found a gruesome scene. On the west wall, hung among other pictures, an old engraving representing an open burial vault in which, on a stone slab, rest 4 human skulls grouped about a fool's cap and bells. What's this?
like Joker's.
Oh, grouped about a fool's cap and bells, an open book. An open book, several mathematical instruments, a beggar's script, and a royal crown.
So obviously
It's like-
those
so just
those are
some
things they
weird
use.
shit.
Those are things they maybe use in ritual or.
So
But it does sound like the idea. So they talk about that alternate society in Germany. The William Taft's father, and I can't remember the other guy's name that originally started this thing. He had attended university in Germany for a while, was a part of a group very similar, brought
Yeah.
that back with him, and that's where he
gotcha.
created
So-
the idea for this.
I've heard a little bit about Deer Island. It looks like we're going to talk about.
The other thing I dislike, a lot of times you look through here, and this is with anything and everything. They're like, oh, it's got Masonic ties,
Sure.
or unfortunately, that's the oldest fucking fraternity.
Right.
So anytime you're getting a group of men together for whatever purpose, secretive about how you get in, what you do, the whole bit,
Right.
ultimately it's going to get tied to it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't see many similarities other than the fact that you have a group of men getting together for whatever purpose under the veil of secrecy.
Right.
But
So tell us about Deer Island.
rich white people, I mean, they fucking own an island in upstate New York that is theirs. It sounds like it was pretty prevalent, in the early 1900s. Since then, it's kind of taken a shit. There's videos on YouTube where you can see it from a distance. It kind of looks like it is kind of went downhill, I would say.
Yeah.
But it was a place where they could go and hang out. It's owned by the Russell Trust Association.
So that's interesting that the fact that Bonesmen never paid any dues to be a part of the society, unlike your traditional fraternities where I'm pretty sure you owe dues of some kind. But they do send out annual letters requesting voluntary contributions to the Russell Trust Association, and which I'm sure is well funded, obviously.
About $5 million a year.
Yeah, for them to continue to do what they do. But we talked about our famous skulls, but it sounds like there are a few famous skulls that are kept in the tomb.
Yeah, Geronimo, which we told that story. Prescott Bush, a couple guys dug it up, and
Yeah.
probably the femur bone so they could have the skull and
Right.
crossbones. And 20 of Geronimo's relatives tried to fight it in court and lost.
Yeah, the judge was probably a member, was probably a Bonesman.
And supposedly there was some law put in place in the 90s that you couldn't dig up people's bodies and keep parts of them. And obviously they were in before that, so they got grandfathered in the
Right.
skull of Geronimo.
So Martin Van Buren. Who would want Martin Van Buren's skull?
Obviously the bones.
Then Pancho Villa.
How fucking far did you travel to get Pancho Villa's
Right,
dome and
right.
bring it back to put it on the couch? That's crazy.
So like all secret societies, Skull and Bones had an initiation phase. The initiation requires candidates to lie down and in the coffin wearing no clothes, receiving their sexual history, revealing their sexual
Receiving.
history
Hey.
to other candidates. Yeah, what
I've
if you?
also heard they have to lay in that coffin and fucking jerk off
Yeah, so
while everybody's watching.
like, so the idea, I've done a little bit of research. So the whole thing is, they allegedly put you in some sort of a coffin because they are ceremoniously
being reborn.
going to, you're going to die, and then you're going to be reborn.
What I think it is a bunch of rich white assholes, no different than Epstein's Island. Like,
right.
we were gonna take pictures, we're gonna film. I have dirt
That's a
on you,
good
you have
point.
dirt on
Yeah,
me.
and that's probably a really good point. No doubt about that. So tell me about some of these conspiracies that surround the Bonesmen.
So one of the first ones is that they had a huge part in the creation of the CIA,
I've heard that. Yeah.
and that it was the easy way to keep tabs on people. You could basically look into new members, their backgrounds, whatever else, see if they, fit the bill to be a part
Right.
of the order.
Makes sense.
And a big tie with that too is the assassination of JFK, which not G Dubs. What was old man's name?
Herschel Walker. Yeah.
H Dubs worked in an offshore oil company at the time. Well, big part of JFK, the Cuban Missile Crisis, he had put a big part of Vietnam had to do with oil
Right.
that I don't think people realize to this day. And some of the policies he was getting ready to put in place would have wildly affected this oil company that the Bushes owned and a couple other Bonesmen owned.
Right.
And that just,
So
Bobby,
we
just
had a
never
problem.
recovered from that.
Let's get rid of it. And I do think that's these societies we talk about. I think there are a lot of parallels between them and the mafia. Now, the mafia is more outwardly, has a history of more like outward violence, and they get involved.
Do you want to know the difference? And I read something that you want to know the difference between the mafia and secret societies like that?
Sure.
All the heads of those 5 families are currently sitting in prison.
Right.
None of them are.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. I mean, their violence is it's more outward public violence. And they're in the crimes that the organized crime that they're involved with is more like what you would consider perhaps like petty crime, like in the sense of drugs, guns, things like that,
Yeah.
gambling, which are very out in the open. Where I think that these secret societies, they are doing illegal shit, but on a much, much higher level than with the average American person.
Yeah.
Where the mafia is interacting daily with the average American people, these secret societies are not. And while I think in spirit, like I don't think that they were created, any of these societies were created to control people or control the world or take over. But I think that what's happened is you get people together. They all of a sudden, some of these people become rich and powerful. So then they want to, let's bring in other rich and powerful people that can help us advance our collective agenda, whatever it is. And it's this commitment to each other, almost like friends, but just on a really fucking serious level. Like, it's this commitment to each other that I've got your back, you've got my back, and we're going to do whatever's necessary to protect and continue to advance things that are in our best interest. And if that means getting rid of somebody, then so be it. If that means, doing some fucking really shady shit, so be it. Like,
so you got to think too. So this thing was created in I know it said 1879, but I know what happened before that. So let's just say 1850. Okay, we'll take a rough medium. Right. We'll say since 1850, there's been what? Maybe, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. So there's been 30 presidents since then, we'll say. 3 of them have been members of Skull and Bones.
Right.
That's a pretty good percentage.
A decent amount, yeah.
From one group.
How many, do you know off the top of your head, how many of them have been Masons?
Presidents?
Yeah.
Probably quite a few, if I had to guess.
But
I mean, at one time when Bush and Kerry were running against each other, they were both
Yeah, both Bonesmen. Yeah, and that shows you right there that the influence or whatever that is coming from the Skull and Bones, it far it supersedes Republican, Democrat, whatever.
Just
There's
money.
no. It's just
Old
about
money. Yeah.
money and influence, power.
Yeah, because I doubt they could give a fuck
And
about
they,
each other's
yeah, I mean, because
policies.
even uh, George H.W. Bush, when he rose up through the ranks, he had fellow bonesmen, donated a lot to his campaign, did the things they had to do to put him in a position to be elected president. And then when he is elected president, um, he returns the favor by appointing a lot of them to his staff in different roles. George W. Bush did the same thing.
Right.
If John Kerry would have won that election, he would have done the
Same.
same thing.
Yeah.
There was money on both sides of that from the Skull and Bones, and then, like I said, oh, okay, you're now my director of whatever. Like, I mean, you're the head of this, head of that department. I mean, and that's the way it works, and
I mean, if we're on the topic, or we were earlier, of incompetent presidents, let's talk about fucking Dubs.
right.
Probably one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever,
Well,
listened
Dick
to.
Cheney was the president. He did not have the personality to get elected by the American people. So they needed to find someone that had the pedigree and maybe was a little more
So
likable on the surface. But
Right.
as far as when it comes to came to policy and governing and stuff like that, he deferred to
But I think that shows you
Cheney.
the power of this group. They could take a guy like that and
Sure.
put him in,
Right.
quote unquote, one of the most powerful offices in the world.
And what's funny is everyone's so critical of these societies and the way that they are abusing their power. But we all do this in some way, shape, or form all the time, just on a much smaller scale, right? I mean,
I don't.
it's
I
like
I don't have this kind of pull for anything.
no, but I'm just saying in general, like if I were to start somehow tomorrow, start some sort of business let's say I fell into say I won the lottery and I could buy an already successful business that was just going to be on automatic. Like I couldn't fuck it up, whatever it is. I'm going to buy this company, whatever. And then I'm like, hey, I'm not going to pay you a couple $100,000 a year, Ryan, to be the fucking whatever, the ball scratcher for this company. You know what I mean? Like just because you're my
Why
buddy.
would you choose that
Like,
occupation for me?
but just because you're my buddy, you're gonna do this and whatever, and that's I mean, we all would do something similar in that situation.
If given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of us obviously don't have these opportunities.
No, and the reason that everyone has, I mean, theirs are on the
Maybe
highest.
this is that
level.
white privilege we're always talking about. This is it.
Theirs are on the highest level. Yeah, I mean, where
They ain't eating fucking hamburgers on sliced bread. I'll tell you that.
it might be.
Doubt it. Doubtful.
They might be.
Obviously, their ties to the Illuminati. Fuck everybody.
Sure.
Everybody ties everything to them. Masons, Illuminati. If you're up
Right.
to anything,
Illuminati. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily buy into that one a whole bunch.
The Gray's Taproom Podcast.
Illuminati. And then the eugenics. So I wish I would have put a little more into this. I listened to a pretty good podcast on it. They used to have these Better Baby contests back in the day.
Better Baby?
Oh, and they had family contests, but basically just trying to find the whitest of the white.
Yeah.
And they were really into it. One guy even opened a eugenics lab.
Hey, all right. White people. Baby names.
Piper.
White people have ruined baby names.
Piper. Yeah.
For sure. Now, but I would say this at the same time. One thing I've always found funny is I think that black people, I feel like they take a common name and they
add some extra vowels and shit to it and
La,
tell you it's stead,
da, like in front of it, like La Marcus, Ja Marcus,
LaShawn.
Da Marcus, LaShawn.
Yeah.
I don't know, like LaTroy.
But I
mean,
think
you see it all the time.
Held Caucasians at gunpoint to go off the deep end the other way.
Yeah, it's like I raise you LaTroy.
Right.
White people come back with, I don't know,
Jackson,
Right.
Hudson.
Hudson. Yeah, some shit like that. 100%. And then everybody's got to get all wild about how they spell it, right?
Oh, I fucking hate that. It drives me crazy.
Like, yeah.
And then you
it's-
try to pronounce it the way it's spelled. Well, that's not how you say it.
right.
Fuck it ain't.
You talk about weird words. Have you seen? You've probably seen this young lady. She's on TikTok. She's Irish. She's Irish, but she's
She's
an Irish
gorgeous.
lesbian. She's
Yeah, huge fan.
she's beautiful. She's got a really thick Irish accent.
Nothing I enjoy more than a good Irish lesbian. So
And
not red hair.
But she'll talk about like how they pronounce different words, and
Mhm.
they'll pop up on the screen, and like they don't sound anything like what they look like
Siobhan,
and shit
yes,
like
yes.
that. Like especially based off the way like we pronounce things.
The big part of that's Gaelic. I mean, so you're just seeing English letters
right?
in the Gaelic language. So
Definitely.
it's going to be pronounced different than we fuck up everything. Let's be honest.
True. I would say so.
Or we try to mash it into our mold and wonder why it doesn't, you know.
Yeah. Like I can understand it. It does seem wild. I mean, to us, it makes sense because we've always used the fucking why am I having such a
Standard
hard time?
measurement?
Yeah, standard measurement as opposed to the
Metrics?
metric system.
Yeah, fuck metrics.
But like the rest
That's
of the
one thing I'm
fucking
on board
the
with.
rest of the fucking world uses the metric system. You know what I mean?
Fuck
It's like
'em.
why must we like
We
insist on being different in that sense?
we must. And I'm okay with that one just because I'm too old to be trying to learn it the other way around.
Well, at this point, yeah, but like when you start
How
to
many
like dig
fucking
into it,
kilometers there is and kilograms. That's about the only one I would probably know.
yeah. But it is. But the thing is, we mix it together though. We even make it worse. It's like not like we exclusively use the standard measuring system. We
We
mix
just use it
to-
for certain things.
We mix it together. You know, it's fucking weird as shit.
That's why people hate us.
Yeah,
Let's
like
be honest.
yeah. I mean, look at it. Like okay, on the football field, you know, it's 100 yards. You walk to the track that surrounds that football field. It's now 100 meters. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, we
it's just-
bastardize everything, which is
No.
okay.
Or yeah, you run a mile and hey, I'm running a mile. No, you get on a track, it's now 1,600 meters. Like it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, most of it, I don't want to. I'm too old to try to convert back. If we start teaching the kids now, maybe fuck it, I'd be on
Right.
board with it. But
Okay, boomer.
what? No,
No, I get
me
it, though, yeah.
myself.
Well, and especially
fuck,
in your
I ain't gonna
profession,
try
man.
it.
Like you're measuring shit all day, every day. Like
Yeah,
that'd be a
give me them
total-
halves and
be a
quarters all day long.
Total mind fuck. Yeah, I don't even know like what. So like I mean, obviously a meter, but like as you're getting smaller, what are their units of measurement?
Centimeters, millimeters.
Oh, duh, fuck.
That's
Fucking
what it
idiot.
is.
God damn it. Centimeters.
Basically the same way
millimeters, yeah,
ours is broke
right,
down,
Right.
feet and inches. But that's all right, bud. Fuck.
Jesus.
It's okay. No, we had some forms for a while. We built these concrete cells, and the forms we got were from overseas. So even the blueprints, everything was centimeters, millimeters.
Yeah.
It was blowing everybody's mind. So they went and bought a couple fucking metric tape measures. They said, we could just take the print, measure each one, and put down what it is in feet and inches, you know, because
Right.
it's going to be a common measurement,
Right.
and just put it on the master. And that way, when someone's looking for this piece or this piece, you don't need to go find the 200 millimeter piece. You could get the
Right.
6-inch piece.
Right.
But so we rocked metric tape measures for a month or two. And these
Yeah.
old guys were like, fuck, blah, blah. It's like, they're all pretty common, you know, it's like
Right.
200, 100, 400. Like,
Right. Right.
so if you found the 200, you should be able to pick out which one 400 is, just
Right.
double that size.
Sure.
But it was blowing their minds.
I'll bet. Well, obviously, it just blew my mind a second ago. Fucking centimeter, millimeter. Duh. Like,
Fuck. It'll get better with time, I
yeah.
promise.
Hopefully it does.
I don't think we fuck these guys hard enough. I don't know.
What do you mean though? Like,
I don't know. It's
I didn't
fascinating.
look like as if we were setting out to like make him look bad.
No, fuck. They got too much money.
Um, it is. Like you said, man. I find it fascinating, interesting. Um,
I like the history part of it. I
Yeah.
like digging into
yeah, I
the
dig stuff that where there's like traditions and
nowadays.
shit like
It's
that.
probably not as cool as we fucking think it is.
Yeah, who
Back
knows?
then, maybe they were up
I
to
mean, it
something
is,
good.
and it is. It's just a society made up of the rich and powerful, is what it comes down to.
What it comes down to is we're not fucking welcome.
No,
That's the unfortunate part.
and if you haven't seen the movie, the Skulls or whatever, it's based off of this.
And the Good Shepherd.
Yeah, but I've not seen that one. I've seen the
Right.
Skulls.
He gets a job in the CIA. Imagine that.
Craig T. Nelson and Paul Walker and I can't think of his name, but the dude that plays Charlie Conway in Mighty Ducks is in it.
And the other guy from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. Well, that's who it is. Yeah, he's in Dawson's Creek or whatever. It's the same guy that played Charlie Conway. Yeah.
Yeah, but they showed Deer Island much cooler in that
Right.
movie. I don't think it's nearly as prestigious.
Well, it was basically just a place to get away and hang out. I mean, it sounded like they'd have family events there and things like that.
I did. The more I looked into Deer Island, there was a couple stories I found, like how it came about and how they, got it. It's a pretty awful story. They basically, oh man, they like fucking tribe of Indians hit up with some smallpox or something. Basically left them on that island to die. It was,
Jeez.
it's not great. Not the bones, but
The country?
the United States government
Gotcha.
did it.
No, that's definitely terrible. But I don't know. I mean, it'd be fucking cool, man. If you had the money to own an island, that'd be fucking sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but especially in upstate
Right.
New York. Fuck yeah, get your pull.
What would you do if you had an island? What would you put on said island?
Not children.
Right.
Not children. Fuck. Maybe their mothers. That'd be about it. God,
yeah.
fucking huge parties. You kidding me?
Right.
You fucking all over that place. It'd be like Woodstock minus the shitty music. Be great.
Would you put an Irish pub on your island?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'd just pay some asshole stand over there and pull beer all day. Like,
Right.
see you at 7 tomorrow.
No, that'd be pretty sweet, man. Be pretty sweet.
No, we went out last night for some drinks, and there is a decent little place around the corner. Fucking Gablehausen buys it up, and it's basically just a fucking shack. You know what I mean? It's gonna fucking fall into itself because
Which place that?
that McMahon's
Oh yeah.
is a decent little Irish place.
So he bought it, huh?
Oh, I'm sure it had some investors. You know,
So
how
what
that
is
fucking
it?
Goes.
Yeah. What
Just sitting there rotting away. That's all it's
nothing's
doing.
there? No, I didn't think so.
Used to be good food, decent little place. You know what I mean?
I remember when it was what, Knickerbockers or whatever.
Yeah, a long time
A
ago.
long time.
And it burned down. They put a little money into it
Yeah.
and opened it up as that Irish place. It was good food, shitty
Right.
service. That's what put them out of business. So you'd fucking wait. I mean,
Right.
you'd be looking at the bartender and not get a fucking beer.
I was gonna say, I thought it was, wondered if it was Knickerbockers, but it wasn't Knickerbockers. It was Keps that bought the cooler for a little bit, right?
Yeah, and serve cheeseburgers and shit
Right.
on sliced white bread.
Yeah.
No, they probably did. Be
When like,
honest.
oh boy, I had like
Sleeping in the
had like a
cot.
cot in the back.
Yeah.
And then after that,
It's
was
just-
it Tony after that?
yes.
Thought so.
Yeah, the cool. Very unfortunate. Just not so cool anymore.
No shit.
Should go down there every now and then just to fucking knock the dust off that place.
Yeah. I remember going over there to Knickerbockers though. And oh yeah, it was a decent place. I remember being busy, man.
Yeah. And I don't know why that place couldn't be either. You got that fucking Kirk's Corner. That place is, I mean, I'm a fan of hole in the walls, but god damn it, son. I got way too many teeth to be sitting in that place.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sunnyland's finest.
Jesus. Then you got them other two shitholes down the road, the One Stop, and I don't even know how that fucking place stays open.
Right. And there's the other one that's right there by it.
Something barbecue.
What the fuck? It was is Alpha Bravo still open? Over
Yeah,
there?
their food's pretty good,
Yeah.
actually. That chili shoe.
I remember when that was Harold's Hamburgers, man.
Fuck yeah.
Back in the day. No sliced white bread there.
No, obviously, my boy Harold knew how to make a decent burger.
All right. Who we fucking today? Do you know?
I think we only have but one choice.
All right. I'm going to let you surprise me.
All right, everybody. It's been fun. I know what we're gonna do next week.
I don't know.
Do
We'll
something
see.
good.
We'll see. So we come up with.
Get any ideas? Hit us up. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pub Time Podcast. Give us your ideas. What do you think about
That's
that?
right. Hell yeah. Send us some ideas.
All right.
Anyone here?
No beers to crack. Unfortunately, you got one for me though. There we go. All right. Here's to those that wish us well. All the rest can go to hell. Fuck you, GW. Who else could it be? I mean, be honest.
I'll do a Georgie boy like that.
If that fucking chip would have tried a little harder, it had been done a long time ago.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. I won't deny it, I'm a straight rider. You don't wanna fuck with me. I got the police busting at me, but they can't do nothing to a G.
Wow, 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 is very nice.